It's day 3 of my trip to the WSOP Circuit stop in Cherokee, North Carolina. I was mortally wounded on the first 2 days. Can I stop the bleeding on day 3? Spoiler alert, yes we can. Roll intro. Welcome back to my travel vlog. I'm Old Man Chris, and even though we don't have any ring events to play on day 3, it's not going to stop us from firing at a couple of smaller tournaments. Let's get back some of the losses from days 1 and 2. I notice on the schedule that the circuit now runs a couple of survivor tournaments each day. Honestly, it's not the best value, as $20 of your $100 entry fee goes to the house and the other $80 goes to the prize pool. It's a pretty simple concept. We play down to the top 10% and the tournament ends and everyone wins $800. Now, I've never played one of these before, but the blinds increase every 10 minutes and you get a starting stack of $10,000. I'm certainly not going to have the luxury of waiting around for premiums. The plan is to concentrate on playing in position, frequent 3-bets, and represent a strong range when I'm in the pot. Also, I have to be fine with going broke if my bluffs run into resistance. As you can imagine, it's not a good idea to late reg one of these events, so I make sure that I am at the table when the cards are in the air. The first level is 100, 200, 200, and I'm finding that I don't have to bluff to pick up some chips. I'm dealt 3 premiums in the first 10 minutes. On the third hand, I pick up aces in the big blind. There is a raise from early position to 600 and 2 callers. With a 10K stack, I might as well go for it all. I don't think I finished saying all in and the early position practically yells call. The other 2 get out of the way and my aces are up against 2 red kings. The flop, turn and river failed to give him one of his 2 outs and I've already doubled up. Level 2, I flop a set of jacks and, unfortunately, the remaining villain folds against my value river bet. And then, still in level 2, with the blinds at 200, 300, 300, I'm in the hijack with queen jack of hearts. Under the gun raises to 1,000 and under the gun +1 calls and I come along. The flop comes ace of hearts, 7 of spades, 8 of spades. Under the gun c-bets 1,500. Under the gun +1 calls, and with some amount of equity, I decide that there are several cards where I will improve, so I make the call. The dealer delivers by putting the 9 of hearts on the board. I now have a flush draw and a gut shot straight draw. Under the gun doesn't take long to say all in, and he has about 8,000 in his stack. And under the gun +1 looks miserable, but puts his $11,000 stack in the middle as well. This isn't ideal. I would have loved to be the aggressor here, but in these turbos, it's important to pick up chips early, so I think I have a pretty easy call with 9 flush outs and 4 straight outs. The dealer is trying to figure out the side pot, and under the gun turns over ace-king of clubs, and under the gun +1 turns over king-10 of hearts. My flush outs are gone, and one of the 10s that I need is gone as well, since the 10 of hearts gives under the gun +1 a bigger flush. My level of dejection is replaced almost immediately when the miracle 10 of diamonds comes on the river and I scoop a massive pot. At this point, it's time to start thinking about what the average chip stack will be when we get down to the top 10%. It's kind of a moving target because people are getting eliminated and re-entering, and there are also people who have more money than sense and are late registering. I look at previous survivor tournaments over the last couple of days, and they seem to last about 2.5, 3 hours. I assume 3 hours, so that means we'll go up to 18 blind levels. I also look, and based on our current player count and past tournaments, I should expect there to be about 125 or so entries. That means 12 to 13 places will get paid. I have my calculator out and determined that the average stack will be about 100,000 when we hit the bubble, and I now have 42,000. Although I feel like I have a massive chip stack compared to everyone else, the blinds will be climbing, and I need to keep applying pressure. I learned quickly that there is no such thing as fold equity in these tournaments when I run a bluff. In level 4 with the blinds at 300, 600, 600, and a stack of about 40K, I have ace of clubs, 9 of diamonds in the big blind, and there is a 2,000 raise and 2 callers ahead of me. I contemplate re-raising because I really shouldn't be playing this hand out of position, but I anticipate multiple callers, and I really don't want to bloat the pot with a marginal holding. I come along for 1,400 more, and the pot is 8,600 already. The flop comes king of clubs, 8 of clubs, 2 of hearts. The original raiser in the low jack raises to 4K, and there are 2 folds ahead of me. I decide to call and see if I can improve. If a club comes, then I think it's a great opportunity to bluff at the pot, as I'm holding the ace of clubs. The dealer delivers again with the 3 of clubs, and when the low jack checks, it's time to run the semi-bluff. I go all in as the villain has only about 8,000 back. That puts him into the tank for a couple of minutes, but people at the table are getting visibly frustrated with him as the blinds are climbing. He makes the call with ace of diamonds, king of diamonds, and I'm going to need another club. But the dealer doesn't oblige, and I take a significant hit. There's a break after level 6, and late registration ends. We end up with 139 entries, so 13 players win 800, and 14th place will win 720. I win a few pots in levels 5, 6, and 7, and build my stack back up to 39k. And in level 8, I'm in the big blind with pocket 2s, and the blinds are 1k, 2k, 2k. There are 2 limpers ahead of me, and although I contemplate a raise, I just push my big blind toward the dealer, and we go 3 ways to a flop of king of hearts, king of spades, and the 2 of clubs. I flopped a set of ducks, and I'm trying to figure out how to get the most from the 2 remaining villains. I decide to check and see if anyone is interested. Sure enough, the low jack checks, but the button goes all in for about 50k. I say call immediately. The low jack folds, and the button tables king of diamonds, 10 of diamonds, and he's not happy to see my full house. I'm not out of the woods yet, but the turn and river don't help him, and I now have 78k. I win another big pot in level 10 when my ace queen holds against villain's ace jack, and that gets my stack to the high water mark of 100k. I figure we have about 6 more levels, and I realize that I can't coast quite yet because the blinds are going up fast and furious. In level 13, I've chipped down to about 80k, and the blinds just jumped up to 6k, 12k, 12k. I have a measly 6 big blinds, but I'm actually third in chips at the table. That's how crazy these things are. I need to make a move. I'm on the button with 9-8 of spades, and it folds around to me, and I decide this is a good time to try and steal the blinds. I go all in, the small blind folds, but unfortunately the big blind calls with a similar chip stack. He turns over king of clubs, jack of diamonds, and the flop comes ace of spades, queen of diamonds, 8 of diamonds. I jump ahead, but I have to fade a king, a queen, and a 10. The turn is a 2 of diamonds, and he just picked up a bunch more outs. But the river is the 2 of spades, and thankfully I double up. The villain storms away, but he actually still has a $1,000 chip on the table. The next few levels I don't really have any playable hands, but I am concentrating on stealing the blinds whenever possible. It fails one time, and I give back a good amount of chips, but I'm staying around the 150k mark. Fast forward to level 16, and we're down to 16 players at 2 tables, and we start playing hand for hand. At this point, the blinds are 15k, 30k, 30k. It takes us a few hands, but we lose 2 players, and I don't have to enter a pot. Now we're playing for 14th place, and I'm in the big blind, and fortunately, it folds around to me, and I pick up the small blind. Eventually, it gets to a player who can't even post the small blind. He can't make magic happen, but wins $740, and the rest of us make $800. Great result, and I recover a good bit of my buy-ins from days 1 and 2. This was a fun little tournament, and surprisingly, it takes some strategic thinking in order to finish in the top 10%. Yes, you have to get good cards and get lucky at times, but you also have to manage your stack because the blinds climb so quickly. Back in the heyday of the post-moneymaker poker boom, I played on full tilt poker, and I played a lot of one-table sit-and-goes. This Survivor tournament reminded me a lot of those tournaments and the strategy needed to succeed. I grabbed some food with my buddy Jay, and after a couple of hours of killing time, I enter into the $140 nightly tournament. I start off losing a few small pots in levels 1 and 2, and my starting stack of 15k now sits at 10k. This isn't a Survivor tournament, but it's still a turbo, and I need to win some hands pretty soon. We're early in level 3 with blinds at 200, 400, 400 when I look down at ace of clubs, jack of spades, and the big blind. There's a raise to 1,000 from under the gun +1, and the button calls. I contemplate a raise, but land on a call. The flop comes jack 7-5 with 2 diamonds. With 3,600 in the middle and just about 9,000 in my stack, I decide to go all in. Probably not a good approach because I'm either way ahead or way behind. What worse hand will call? Well, I get the answer to that question quickly when under the gun +1 and the button both call. Under the gun +1 has jack 10 of diamonds, and the button has king 5 of diamonds. At least they're sharing diamonds, as they both need a diamond on the turn or the river. The turn is a black 5, and the river is a black 9. I scoop a big pot and have some chips to maneuver with now. Let's check in with old man Chris on the first break. All right, checking in. It's been tough so far in this World Series of Poker. Haven't checked in just because of my frustration levels. I do have a lot of hand histories that I've taken notes on, and I will be going through those. What I would tell you is I have played in the 40-40-40, did not cash. Played in the mini main, did not cash. And I then went today and played in a Survivor tournament, $100 entry, get down to the top 10%, and you win $800. Binked that one, $800. So got back a little bit of my buy-in so far. I'm now playing the $140 nightly, and it's going well. I have above average stack on the first break. Got some hand histories I'll go over on this tournament as well. And then tomorrow is the seniors, probably the best value. A lot of old guys playing bad poker, hence the reason for this channel. Get you guys up to speed, learn how to play a little bit of GTO. So I'll check in hopefully after this tournament when I have chopped 3 ways, let's say. Level 7 and 8 are uneventful, and in level 9 with blinds at 1500, 3K, 3K, and sitting on a stack of 52K, there's an early position raise, and the cutoff goes all in for about 40K. I look down at Queen of Hearts, Queen of Diamonds, and make the call. The early position raiser gets out of the way, and the cutoff turns over Ace, King of Spades. I hold and manage to eliminate a player. How's OMC Chris doing after break 2? Let's check in. Break number 2 of the nightly. I've got about average chip stack with only 7 left until we hit the money. I did have an Ace King up against a Queen 10 and lost half my stack because he flopped the Queen and actually rivered the 10. So 2 pair, he doubled up against me. Then I got a lot of my chips back with Ace King villain. I had Queen Queen, and the Queens held up, so I got a lot of chips back. So back to, like I said, average stack, and only 7 from the money. Let's go get that top prize though. Not long after the break, we're down to 37 players, and we've made the money with $267 wrapped up. The prize pool is posted, and there's $5,866 up top, but I anticipate there will be a chop at the final table. In level 12, I am down to 56K in chips, and the blinds are 4K, 8K, 8K, so I only have 7 big blinds left, and I look down at pocket 9s. In the immortal words of Andy Dufresne from Shawshank Redemption, or Jeff Boski, it's time to get busy living or get busy dying. I go all in and get called by pocket 10s and pocket 6s. But there's a 9 on the flop, and my set holds, and I now have 188K. I lose a couple of smallish pots, and the blinds start to take their toll. In level 17, I'm down to 105K in the big blind, and with blinds at 20K, 40K, 40K, I post my 80K for the big blind and the ante, and only have 25K back. Not sure there are any cards in which I would fold, but there is hope when I look down at 6, 7 of diamonds and shove. I get called by Ace of Clubs, Queen of Spades, but I have 2 live cards that have straight and flush potential. Let's go to the video.
Seven, 8.
All right. I'm out of the nightly in 11th place, and I earned $372 for 6 hours of work. I'm pretty happy with my play and go to bed encouraged by the day's results and with some confidence heading into the next day's seniors tournament. It was a lot of poker in one day, but very rewarding. So we're at the point in my videos where I share my recent results and my bankroll progress. I started with a 2026 bankroll of 5K. I'm concentrating on smaller online buy-ins and saving my bankroll for larger on-site tournaments such as this circuit event, as well as a trip to Vegas in June for the series. So stay tuned for upcoming travel vlogs highlighting those trips. Travel vlog 2 is a wrap. I'm hoping to build a large enough following that the WSOP will issue me a media pass so that I can record my hands live. If you enjoyed this video or my series on modern poker concepts for beginners, wrecks, and old man coffees, then please like and subscribe. It costs you nothing, but it will help me convince the WSOP social media team that I deserve a pass that will allow my subscribers a better viewing experience. Stay tuned for the next vlog where I bring you along for the seniors tournament on day 4 of my trip to Cherokee. Thanks for all the support so far, and I'll see you in the next one.